last year, BestArc sent one of these plasma cutters down here. And since Pops is the professional welder, been doing this since before I was born, I brought it down here and he seemed to be pretty impressed about that other one. What do you think, Pops? You've been using that for almost a year now?
Yeah, about a year or so. I mean, it's doing a good job, but it apparently don't have the features that this one does.
All right. Well, BestArc sent us this new, I think it's the 10th generation one out. And we're going to check this out today and see just what it can do for us. All right, so I pulled this out the box. And one thing that I like about this is that it comes with a plug on the machine, which is actually the 220 plug, but it has this adapter that we just plug right in here, and then we can plug it straight into an outlet, and we don't have to rewire or change anything up on the machine. So super simple. You just screw your whip right here. There's a red wire. It screws in there. There's a little 2-wire connector pin, screws in that. And then we got a ground wire that connects right here. Couldn't be any simpler. And then on the back of the machine, we just plug in our air fitting and we're good to go. So we're hooked up to our 110 right now. And something that I was showing Pops that I really like is your air pressure. A lot of people don't know how to set the air pressure. Well, we can just hit this button right here and it's on cut, and that turns to air. And what that does is it opens up like you're pulling the trigger without pulling the trigger and setting the fire off, but just letting the air out. And then we can adjust this and we're going to get into the green. As long as you're in the green, you should be good. But it's going to be different while the air is flowing. So you see I set it to 40 PSI for our 110, but whenever I stop it, it goes up to 47. But once we pull the trigger, that's going to have us set at the perfect air pressure. Also here, this 2T and 4T, that's basically you pull the trigger and hold the trigger and it burns, and then when you let go of the trigger, it stops. 4T is basically 4 pulls of the trigger. Is you pull it, let go, and it starts to burn, and then you pull it again and let go, and it turns it off. So that's the difference between the 2T and the 4T. I prefer actually the 2T, but that's either or. Then you have over here on this one where you have your pilot arc, and then you got your post time. So this is where when you pull the trigger, it sets the pilot arc off so you don't actually have to touch off on the metal, and you can set how long you want that pilot arc to burn. And then also the PT is how long the air flows after you let go of the trigger. So we haven't cut anything with this machine yet. This is going to be our first cut. So what are we going to start out with here, Pops?
We got a little piece of 1/8 angle iron.
All right, so we got a piece of 1/8 angle iron. We're on 110. Let's let her rip and see what happens. All right, so what do you got here now, Pops?
Got a little piece of 3/16 angle iron. It's a little bit thicker.
Okay, let's see what's that 3/16, and we're still on 110. We do have that thing cranked up. Go ahead, Pops, and see what you got.
Okay.
What do you got? It look like it. Yeah. Looks like it cut all the way through, just right there at the very tip.
Maybe traveling's too slow.
Okay. All right, let's try it one more time. Let's see what we got. All right, that one sliced it right off.
Apparently I was going too slow on the first cut, so.
Okay.
Speed makes a big difference, too fast or too slow.
So you were actually cutting too slow and the slag was going, so this thing was actually wanting to run faster than you were running.
Absolutely.
All right, we got a piece of 1/4 inch you said here?
1/4 inch, a little bit heavier than that 3/16.
All right, let's see what we got. right, so that cut that 1/4 inch metal pretty good, huh?
Absolutely fantastic. Like I say, when I got the speed right, I mean, it's no problem with it.
You had mentioned that you never used these little guides, but the guides seem to be working for you.
Oh,
this is something I had to get used to.
Once I get used to letting it sit there instead of holding off, I mean, it works great. And like I say,
so basically with something like that, almost a person with no experience.
No experience is great because you hadn't got to worry about too close or too far. Just let it touch and slide.
Yeah, so you old school where you had to actually have skill to hold it. But
correct.
And then 1/4 inch on 110, that means pretty much anybody in their garage can be cutting 1/4 inch, even if they don't have 220.
That's 110, and that's a slicker cut. If you see the cut.
All right, and so you said we got a piece of 1/2 inch right here?
Yeah, we'll push it to the limit. You know,
so it probably, I don't think it's designed to cut 1/2 inch on 110, but some people don't have 220 in their garage. We'll see if maybe even if we had to make it slow or a second pass to see if you really needed to cut a piece of 1/2 inch.
If we really got down to it, you know.
And you didn't have 220, could you do it with this machine?
Let's do it, and we'll see.
Let's take a look and see what we got there, huh?
It looks jagged, but I was just playing with it because, you know, it's not supposed to cut half. But if you can play with it and cut half, you know, sometimes, and it's cutting it, it's just, I didn't.
Got a little slack.
Probably went back one more time on it, you know. The first part's learning, but.
Oh, we just been, we haven't had no experience with this machine. This is all we've cut's what's been on film, but definitely if you had to cut a piece of 1/2 inch
with 110,
with 110, you could get it done, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you want to see what would happen if we put it on 220?
Yeah, we can do that. We'll just go straight to 220.
All right.
On the same piece of 1/2 inch. Compare.
All right, so we've swapped this over to 220. You know, there's nothing to set. We just plugged it into the 220 plug. And again, we've got the air pressure. You can turn it on and get our air pressure adjusted so that it's running in the green while the trigger's pressed. And now we're going to try to cut that same.
With the same amps, you're going to turn it up.
Yeah, we got it turned up with the 220. Okay. And we'll see if it's going to do this 1/2 inch piece of plate. Now we're doing it the way. Well, actually, the machine says 3/8 for some reason.
Yeah.
But last time it was cutting a lot thicker than 3/8.
Yeah, the other machine was supposed to be the same machine. So.
All right, let's see what we got. 1/2 inch. I don't know, Pops. That looks like a pretty smooth cut for 1/2 inch steel on this little plasma cutter.
It's like a cutting torch. Never cut it no more than that. So, like I say, the slag will just knock right off. So,
now the machine, I don't know why it says on the machine because it's got this little chart up here. It is saying 3/8 on the 50 amps because that's what this machine's a 50 amp. So right there it says 3/8, but that's a full 1/2 inch.
Yeah.
And it almost looked to me like it could probably cut even thicker than that, huh?
I would think so.
Because, I mean, that cut pretty quick and pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Now, on the machine, when you go up from the 110 to 220, now this, the green changed. So we raised the pressure up to 60 PSI while it was cutting. And we were saying maybe the air pressure could have been different. So you think that it's a possibility if we leave the pressure at 60, go back to 110, that this could cut. I mean, it cut the 1/2 inch before, but it may have cut it a little bit easier, a little smoother.
If I was fitting to buy one, I'd want to know if I could run it on 110 just in case, because sometimes I.
All right, let's swap it back over to 110 here. I'm not going to turn the camera off. You want to swap the machine to 110? All right, so do I need to do a countdown and how long it takes you to get this machine from 110 to 220? All right, we just passed 10 seconds.
And some people say you can't use extension cord, but that's what I use.
Yeah, we're on some long extension cord. That was 15 seconds that we went from 220 to 110. So we got to turn the power back on. All right.
Okay, did our systems?
It's firing up, and it is up, ready to go. Let's see what happens with 110 again on some 1/2 inch.
A little at the end, but
So I seen it. If you pick back up, you can see where it moved. It's just out a little bit right at the end. So that basically cut that.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut that off where we can see just what we did. Right there. All right.
All right. So
that's a 110 cut with a high pressure.
The focuser. Yeah, so
it's cutting as clean as a 220. It's not cutting as fast. I can't go as fast, but it's cutting as clean as prettier cut with the higher pressure. So it's possible the machine will cut the 1/2 inch on 110 if you got the pressure.
So we were running, it says 66, but I didn't look at the machine actually, but we got it set to where it should be right around, let's turn on. So right around 59, 60 PSI while we were cutting. So I don't know, I think that's pretty good. A 110 plasma cutter cutting 1/2 inch plate steel. All right, so what was you saying?
So just a comparison, this is the 110 I just made, cut with 110 power. This is the 220 power that I just cut. There's not a whole lot of difference in the cut itself as far as smoothness.
And even the slag's not a whole lot different either.
You can see a little swirl on this one because you have to slow down and it's actually pushing back. But it was cutting. If I'd have went a little bit further, I mean, that's 110 slicker. I mean, this is slick. It's just not straight, the curve.
All right, Pop. So we were just talking. How many years you think it's been that you've been using plasma cutters?
Probably 30 plus.
For plasma machines.
Yeah.
And we was just saying, you've never cut a piece of 3/4 inch metal with a plasma cutter before?
No, I have to use an oxyacetylene torch to cut.
Because all them
basically, when I come up, anything over a 1/4 inch, I usually went and got a acetylene oxygen. I've got an old machine, but it didn't cut near like this.
Okay, well, it said 3/8, so we're going to double that and see if a little skill can cut a piece of 3/4 with this little plasma.
The 1/2 inch did okay, but we'll see. This will.
Yeah, I seen it drop there. Well, that's a piece of 3/4 inch.
It's clean. It just take a little bit longer time, slower, but it cut it. The machine cuts it. Don't cut it as fast as a 3/8, but hey, it's as clean as a acetylene oxygen torch cuts it. Got a little slag, but that's just a little cleanup.
All right, so I don't know how many people got anything thicker than a 3/4 inch that they're trying to cut with one of these little plasma cutters, but sometimes we cut different materials. So you think we can find something besides steel to cut with?
Yeah, I've got some stainless and I've got some aluminum around here. So let me get a piece of.
All right, so we found some aluminum here. So you got a piece of 3/16 and a piece of quarter inch.
Quarter inch, yeah.
All right, let's see what it does with aluminum. I think you're starting to get the hang of this machine. That was pretty quick.
Learning the speed of it, you know, just have to learn a new machine. This is quarter inch. And it's cutting clean.
Pretty clean cut, quarter inch aluminum.
220, but like I say, it's cutting aluminum, so that's a little bit different than cutting steel.
All right, so we got a piece of stainless. We're going to give it a shot. All right, so we found a piece of, what's this, 1/8 inch you said?
About 14 gauge, really. It's not quite 1/8, but it's stainless steel, so.
All right, let's see if this thing can cut some stainless steel here. I heard that stainless was supposed to be pretty hard to cut, but that seemed pretty simple.
It cut clean. Our torch, you can't hardly do it with a acetylene oxygen torch, but this, I mean, it's like cutting it with a knife here.
Well, you think we got a thicker piece of stainless steel we might find around here?
Yeah, I probably got a piece of probably 5/16 or 3/8 angle somewhere.
All right, let's get it and see. All right, so we found us a piece of 3/8 angle iron, stainless steel angle iron. So do you think this thing's going to cut it?
I don't know. Like I say, but cut to 3/4 mile steel, so you know.
You ain't making no bets against it.
You know, I always got doubt, but we're gonna see. I'm impressed so far.
All right, let's see what we got. Yeah, I can see all the way through it. That's definitely cutting it right there.
All right.
And cut the other side then?
Don't let me cut your pants. No comparison, no complaint there whatsoever.
All right, 3/8. It said on the machine here that it can cut up to 3/8. It just didn't say it was 3/8 stainless steel.
Right.
So 3/8 stainless steel, 3/4 inch mild steel. All right, so you know you've had plasma cutters for 30 years. You had the BestArc. I think it was like the 5th gen or 7th gen for the last year or so. Now this new model. If you were buying one, I'll have to check it. I'll put a link in the description, but I'm thinking that this one is only about $50 more. Check the description to find out, but do you think...
I'd probably go with a newer machine because it's got features that the old one didn't. And like I say, now we didn't try the 3/4 on the other gen, but this one cut 3/4, which is designed for 3/8, what it said, but it cut to 3/4. And that impressed me because normally I'd have to get a torch with a big tip, and you know.
So an average person that's not in a major production shop, do you think there's anything that they would need to cut that this machine won't cut?
Like I say, I'm not in a major production, but I do a lot of stuff for farmers and oil field and whatnot. And so far, most everything I've ever cut, it would have cut it. Like I say, but if you get up to something like 1 inch or 2 inch, Now you're gonna have to go to a different machine.
Yeah, I'll definitely say that, I was impressed with the original plasma cutter that they sent me, and I got the BestArc welder, and I'll put a link in the description for that too. And that thing impressed me. I should have brought it with you, let you check it out, but I don't know, BestArc, I never heard of them. I always heard of these other names, but to me, they've coming up with some technology, and I have yet to find one of these BestArc anything that wasn't top notch. And we didn't mention on this one here, but this whip is like super. You see how it's super soft.
Like a thin extension cord.
And then it's got this ball swivel here. And so that takes all that fatigue out of your hand. If you're over here cutting for long periods of time, that little bit of swivel makes a huge difference.
And like I say, just what little we run, you can actually see that tip, it's still in real good shape. And we just been cutting, it's not new metal, it's old metal, rusty, painted, that's what I use.
All right, so until next time, hope everybody has a wonderful day, and check the links in the description. And if you like this kind of stuff, don't forget to hit that like button and maybe even subscribe if you feel like it.